Unity Token plans to change lives through blockchain, through tokenization and humanitarian impact. Welcome back to the Crypto Investor Podcast. My name is Leinhardt. Previously, we discussed the origins, the vision, the humanitarian philosophy, and the story behind Unity Project. But today we ask a more important question. How can Unity serve humanitarian purposes? How can it actually execute these causes? Because good intentions alone do not change lives. No, but execution changes lives. How you execute those good intentions. Systems change lives. Infrastructures change lives. And sustainable funding changes lives. So let's explore the vision. Previously, I told you that Unity Token aims at providing clean water. So one of the challenges in many developing communities is access to clean water. For people living in major cities, turning on a tap is very normal. You're just tapping, then it flashes and you're like, oh, what is here? We have water. I've paid my water bill. And it's about paying water bills. For millions of people around the world, it is not. It is not. Some communities walk long distances to find water. Some depend on unsafe water sources. Some face disease outbreaks connected to poor water access. But Unity's humanitarian vision includes helping people get clean water. It includes helping fund clean water initiatives, which is amazing. And honestly, if you've ever lived in a rural area, you understand why this matters a lot. That clean water is not a luxury, but clean water is survival. I also looked at Unity's mission to fund and support disaster response. And I remember how so many people die during disasters, hunger disasters, epidemics, floods, disease outbreaks like Ebola, how people are dying of Ebola right now. So whenever floods happen, whenever earthquakes happen, whenever fires happen, whenever communities are displaced, people need help immediately. One of the ideas behind humanitarian blockchain projects is creating global participation that can respond faster. Instead of waiting for traditional systems alone, for governments, for UN, for a global community can potentially mobilize support, and this is why Unity Token is here. This is one of the areas that Unity supporters believe technology can assist humanitarian action, which is so amazing. One of the projects that Unity aims at working on is the fight against drugs and fentanyl. So one area that receives significant attention at Unity is anti-drug initiatives, especially the fentanyl awareness. So around the world, many communities have experienced devastating consequences from addiction. Families have been destroyed, young people have been lost, the entire communities have been affected. So Unity's vision includes becoming an active to bring in active efforts in prevention, educating, and recovery support for people struggling with drug addiction. specifically fentanyl, because changing lives alone, it is not about building things, but sometimes it is about saving lives before they are lost. And trust me, this is a huge credit. It may sound like as if something small, but even having mental health rehabilitation centers around the world, that initiative alone is so amazing. By the way, one of the initiatives that I think personally I would be happy, okay, I don't know its possibilities, but I think, like in my country, we need a very big mental health rehabilitation center. A rehabilitation center that is having counselors available to rehabilitate people, to talk to people, to advise people for free, being facilitated and paid by Unity. There are so many people struggling with mental health. Let me tell you, if you happen to understand how young people are using drugs, Jesus Christ, it is getting out of hand. It is getting out of hand. By the way, personally here, I don't smoke. I think I drink alcohol like once in 6 months. Okay, I'm not a drinker, and I've never went in a bar and used my own money to buy alcohol. I think the only times that I drink is when I have friends around and they're like, you know what, let's buy this, you take a Smirnoff. And I'm like, okay, so I just drink to fit in, but I'm not a drinker. I'm not really a drinker. But my age mates, all my age mates, and even especially young ones, even those who are younger than me, those people at the universities, school dropouts, they think taking in shisha, smoking, taking drugs is actually cool, and it's amazing, and come on, it's Jesus. This is crazy. I think one of the initiatives that I would really be happy to carry out in my country through Unity, if given an opportunity, it would be having rehabilitation a very big rehabilitation center where we save people from drugs, from drug abuse, addicts, alcohol addicts, drug addicts, shisha addicts. Give them support, give them an environment, a space, food, lecture them, teach them, uplift them. There are so many people here struggling locally. You not struggle locally, you struggle without anybody not seeing. We're losing lives. Unity. This is a very good initiative, a very amazing humanitarian initiative. And I want to thank Unity Administration for such an amazing I've just thought about it and I'm like, what? People are dying and the government's like, in Moscow, before governments get in, it's worse. We've lost lives, we've lost our brothers, we've lost our sisters. It is insane. I think a person who can really feel what I'm talking about right now is a person who has lost a person due to drug addiction. If you've lost anybody because of too much drinking or too much smoking, you can really understand what I'm talking about. That we need these humanitarian initiatives. We need them. We need them. We do. Also, Unity is looking at developing infrastructures. When people hear infrastructures, they think about roads. But infrastructure is much bigger than roads. Schools are infrastructures, hospitals are infrastructures, internet access are infrastructures, energy systems are infrastructures, water systems are infrastructures, community centers are infrastructures. The vision behind Unity suggests that these long-term humanitarian impact, they require long-term infrastructure developments. If you want to help people, if you want to develop people, if you want to have this humanitarian impact around the globe, you must have these permanent infrastructures. If it means building hospitals, build them, let them be there at an international level. If you are to build Cambridge schools, build them. If you are to have your own internet, how do they call it? Just like how you see Elon Musk's internet, Starlink. Is it Starlink? I think it's Starlink. If you are to have that, build it. If you are to have MTN, have it. Unity token is going to have generational infrastructures set, funded by Unity. This is amazing. I'm really so excited to host some Unity supporters on this podcast, on YouTube, and also here on this audio podcast. And trust me, it's going to be amazing, because I'm really thinking about this infrastructures being headed by a blockchain project, and I'm like, how is this going to be like? You know? Okay, how is this going to be executed? If they are executed and it is Unity token supporting this, how much is going to be each Unity? Have you asked yourself about that? I do ask myself about that, because I've been covering Unity token for months now. It's coming to a year talking about and covering Unity and its vision and mission. Because giving aid today is so impactful, but building infrastructure, it helps generations. Imagine if Unity token built water systems around nations. Imagine if they built community centers helping community. Imagine if they built energy systems, solar systems. Imagine if they built internet access infrastructures. Imagine if they... It's a lot. Tokenization matters in all that I've been saying up there. Tokenization matters. Many people here might be hearing about tokenization and not understanding it fully, but this simply means representing value, representing ownership, representing participation, or representing assets on a blockchain system, bringing value, representing value, bringing physical value onto the blockchain. That's why last time I was talking about Unity tokenizing an infrastructure project on Moto Island in Indonesia. So many experts believe tokenization could become one of the largest industries in the future, and it is. Why? Because it increases transparency, it improves accessibility, it improves efficiency, it allows digital participation easily. This is why most projects today, they focus heavily on tokenization. But then tokenization to happen, you must have visionaries, you must have funds to build those infrastructures, or those infrastructures must be present and you simply bring them on chain. Them being represented on chain. This is not because tokenization sounds impressive, but because it could fundamentally change how value moves around the world. Tokenization, it is going to change how value moves around the world. And Solana with Unity token, Unity token being Unity token existing on Solana blockchain, it is becoming a very big advantage, because humanitarian systems need scalability, they need speed, they need affordability, they need efficiency. So supporters of Unity argue that Solana provides those capabilities better than any other older blockchain system. So this allows participation without extremely high transactional costs. And for humanitarian focused ecosystem, this matters. So personally, as somebody who has experienced a lot of scams and broken promises, failed projects, I always tell people the same thing, that never invest based on emotions, but never invest because somebody guarantees success. Never invest because somebody promises wealth. But do research, ask questions, study leadership, study transparency, study utility, study execution, and then make your own decision. The future of Unity token will ultimately depend on execution. That must be addressed. Not promises, but execution. How all this that I've been talking about will be brought to life. So it's not about talking. It's not about this podcast. It is about execution. How do you bring this into life? But if the vision described by the supporters really becomes reality, it would represent something far bigger than just another cryptocurrency project. It would represent a humanitarian ecosystem funded through these modern technologies. And that is why many people right now, they are paying attention to what Unity is saying. Whatever Unity is saying, it must be practical. It must be brought into books. Yes. Because right now I'm simply reading press releases, studying the history, and making current episodes, bringing all this into coordination on what is coming. So how are these infrastructures all going to be brought onto blockchain? How are these infrastructures going to be funded, and are they going to happen? Ladies and gentlemen, this is something that we should all follow up on. So Unity token, it represents itself as a mission to unite people around the world with humanitarian causes, with the clean water, education, healthcare, disaster response, anti-drug initiatives, infrastructure development, community empowerment, and the use of blockchain technology and tokenization to help support this cause. Whether that vision succeeds or remains, that remains to be seen. But we are now understanding the vision now. Thank you guys for listening. My name is Daniel Leinhardt. This has been the Crypto Investor Podcast. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and let us keep building the future